Am I the a-hole for not caring my ex is upset about the dream life I am giving my current partner? I, 34 male, share a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son with my ex, 37 female. I have a 2-year-old son with my current partner, 29 female, who is also pregnant with our second kid. For background, my parents were both doctors but died in a small plane crash when I was 14. There was a lawsuit, and they had assets that were placed in a trust I received when I turned 18. Therefore, at 18, I inherited a pretty substantial amount of assets. I met my ex when I was starting college at 17. She got pregnant 3 years into dating. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom like her own mom. I was supportive of that. But she did not do the activities that typically come with being a stay-at-home mom. Cooking, cleaning, managing the household, etc. I offered to hire some help, but she did not want strangers in the house. We unexpectedly got pregnant with our son, and I told her something had to give. I was working and looking to go to grad school soon. The solution was to move closer to her parents, and I got into grad school there and was accepted. So we moved. There was a particular house near my in-laws that both of us really loved. I originally showed it to my ex, and she loved it. It was on a large corner lot, and we each dreamt of buying it if it became available. But no plans were in place to buy it. Prior to our son being born, the discussion we had was that she would get a job once both kids were in school. When our son started all-day pre-K, I suspected she would look for a job, but she refused. We fought about this for a year. We divorced. We split custody, and I paid child support. About a year after our divorce, I met my current partner. Since getting pregnant with our son, she has been a stay-at-home mom. About 4 months ago, the house my ex and I dreamt about buying came on the market. We made an offer and it was accepted. We just spent Christmas there with all the kids. This past week, my ex called me pretty irate. She is mad I bought our house and that she heard from the kids that we are considering whether my partner will stay home permanently. They overheard a conversation we had with adult family members at Christmas. She says I am giving my partner her dream life. I laughed and told her that, beyond what affects our kids, I have no concern for how she feels, and hung up. According to my kids, she has been pretty upset. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. As long as your current partner knows it's your ex's dream home too, not the a-hole. The main reason I would tell her is, your ex is jealous and will gripe at your partner too. It comes across as if your ex married you for money. That sucks if true. Sounds like you upgraded to someone who sees the world like you do. That's good. Be mindful of your kids though. If your ex is mad enough, she may try to alienate your kids from you. Not the a-hole. Your ex can go pound sand. I totally agree. OP should make sure their current partner knows the backstory, especially if the ex might cause trouble. It appears like OP has found someone who's a better match, which is great. I just hope OP keeps an eye on the kids. The ex might try to stir things up with them, and they don't need that. Not the a-hole. I understand wanting to be a housewife and stay-at-home mom, but that comes with jobs she needs to do, like cooking, cleaning, and childcare. Obviously, you should help, but the bulk falls on her. She doesn't want to do any of that, from your post it seems. She has no say in your life beyond the kids. As for the house situation, if it's a nice house, who the heck cares? Being a stay-at-home mom or housewife is a valid choice, but it comes with responsibilities. From this post, it seems like she's not willing to do her part, which isn't fair to OP. And as for the house, if it's a good home for OP and the kids, why should it matter? However, it seems like the ex is just looking for reasons to complain. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. A 20-year-old found an orphaned soon-to-be-rich 17-year-old and had her lifestyle paid for until she was 31. Then, after 7-ish years of not performing the role of stay-at-home mom or allowing help for OP, effectively making his life harder, she refused to get a different job and contribute that way. OP moved on. That is the end of the ex's right to be involved. That said, buying a house you and your ex had talked about was a little callous, especially as it was near her parents. It makes it seem like she was just a prop in your life. That said, it sounds like your new wife takes on stay-at-home mom as the hard job it is. So keeping that role, especially as with shared custody, there are now 4 kids to feed and clean up after, not 2, makes sense. But discussing sensitive topics within earshot of your shared kids is not smart. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex to give me full custody of our kids if she wants my help and saying that's the only help I'd ever offer her? I, 34 male, have 2 sons, 11 and 9, with my ex, 34 female. We broke up after I found out she had been cheating on me with this guy, Luke. She didn't fight me on it until she told Luke she was pregnant and he disappeared. Then she told me the baby was mine and we should try to make it work. I told her we'd need a DNA test, but regardless, we were never getting back together. She had her daughter and DNA proved she wasn't mine. We weren't married, so it made things less complicated regarding birth certificates and such. She did try to put my name on her daughter's birth certificate anyway, but was told she could not. Our co-parenting relationship was so high conflict that we ended up needing to communicate through a parenting app only, and a court signed off on this. Unless there is an emergency, of course. We can try to text, email, or call, but the other party is not required to acknowledge it unless it's an emergency. She hated it because she wanted to wear me down into accepting her daughter, but I did not. About 2 years later, she dated a guy called Sean, and suddenly Sean was her daughter's real dad, and I had peace, which was nice. But they also tried to cause troubles with my sons. Luckily, my boys and I had such a good relationship that my ex and Sean couldn't come between us. My ex and Sean were together for about 2.5 years, maybe 3. He got her pregnant and then they had a son and he left. My ex yet again tried to get me to take on other children. She tried to poison our children against me. The courts ordered her to attend therapy and parenting classes. Custody was not changed. We always had 50-50. But she was told there would be monetary fines if she engaged in alienation again. I was also able to get our children therapy at this point. Anytime one of our boys had an event, it was difficult for a while. My ex would try to sit near me and she had convinced her daughter that I'm her dad. I told my ex to correct it because I wasn't going to take on her daughter so she wouldn't feel bad. Her son was too young to really know what was going on. I did try for more/full custody on 4 different occasions over the way my ex was trying to use our sons and was creating more problems and mess for them. Even with a therapist saying the kids really hated being with their mom and they'd have more stability with me, the 2 judges we have seen so far have refused to change custody from 50-50. And that's where I lead into the next part. So my ex is now married and she has another daughter and this one is with her husband. Before the child they shared, he was okay with her other 2 kids. Now he doesn't want to know them. Even I can see that during very brief and limited interactions, but she texts me about it, and I never respond. One of the 4 attempts at custody was when she admitted her house is hell and how much her kids are suffering because of it. But the judge still denied me. Anyway, she wants me to be there for her other 2 kids. I still say no. She told me she needs my help. This is when I said the only help I would give is taking full custody of our boys. She freaked out and told me I shouldn't separate them from their family and get in the way of the sibling relationship, which honestly to me, my boys don't seem to have a close or otherwise involved relationship with any of their 3 half-siblings. The therapist even stated this. But my ex is calling me an ass and saying I shouldn't take such a hard stance and should be helping for our son's sakes. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. What a crappy situation for you and your sons. Your best bet is to not interact at all outside of issues with your sons. I hope things get better. Sometimes judges suck. I tried to do just that, and until I replied to all this after ages of getting texts about it, all I did communicate with her about was our boys. Wow, what a mess. I would say not the a-hole and hope that instead of her having 5 kids at her house, only having the 3 there might calm things down over at her house. In any case, whatever is best for your sons is your priority. Good luck. It won't be better for 2 of her kids, but at least my sons would be out of that messy and toxic dynamic she has built over there. Does this woman know where babies come from? She needs to stop breeding. She knows. She just doesn't seem to care about stopping the stream of babies she's having. Is she at least a good mom to your two? Or is she as much as a mess I imagine? I feel bad for you and your kids. Some people are just crazy town banana pants. But also, I will literally pay for her birth control. She's not as good of a mom as our kids deserve. I know parents who are worse than her, but our boys deserve a lot better. Next story. Am I the a-hole for sending my ex's new girlfriend a screenshot of him trying to get with me? Some background. My ex and I were together for 13 years and have a few kids together, the youngest being 2. We separated a year ago and have tried our best to maintain a decent friendship for the kids. However, he goes in cycles where we get along until he tries to sleep with me or get us back together. When I refuse, he insults me, gets mad, and blocks me for a few days or a week. Whatever. He's a so-so parent. Anyways, a few months ago, he had the kids for a few hours. Before and when I dropped them off, he texted me and made remarks about wanting to take me out and sleep with me. I do not entertain any of it. When I picked my kids up after a few hours, they informed me that they had met his girlfriend. It was a disaster, and he tried to bribe and beg our oldest not to tell me. I don't care that he has a girlfriend, but I did try to ask him why he was talking to me that way if he was seeing someone serious enough to bring around his family, because that's not like him. Instead of ignoring the question or answering, he decided to ignore me. But more importantly, he ignored his kids for the next 2 months, only seeing them for 4 hours total. He wouldn't return their calls or messages. I was really upset and hurt one night, so I sent a screenshot of the text he sent me on the day my kids met his girlfriend to her IG and told her, since she's okay being with a man who doesn't see his kids anymore, then she is probably okay with dating a man who cheats too. I then blocked her from messaging me back. 2 days later, he was back to seeing his kids on scheduled times and talking with them. I don't know why, but I have been feeling so guilty about it. I almost feel bad that I may have ruined his relationship. I hate that after all the BS that's been done to me, I don't like the idea of hurting him or somebody else getting hurt in the mix. Did I do the wrong thing? Not the a-hole. He is being disrespectful to you, his girlfriend, and your kids. You didn't ruin his relationship. He did it to himself with his actions. Exactly, not the a-hole. He created this mess with his own behavior. Disrespecting you, his girlfriend, and even his kids? That's on him. You didn't ruin anything. He's just dealing with the fallout of his own bad choices. If anything, his girlfriend deserves to know who she's really dealing with. Hopefully, this wake-up call pushes him to be a better parent, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Not the a-hole. If his relationship is ruined, it wasn't you who ruined it. By sending the screenshot to his now probably ex-girlfriend, he may just realize he is wasting his time and stop harassing you. The kids met her, so she knows he has children. I wouldn't date someone that didn't see their kids regularly, unless they were fighting tooth and nail to see them. So I don't see her as exactly innocent. Of course, he may have blamed Opie for him not seeing them. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I don't want to be a single mom of 3 kids? My husband, 42 male, and I, 31 female, have been married for 12 years. We have 2 kids, 8 male and 4 female. Our marriage is not great. His mother and sister often give unsolicited advice on my parenting, our marriage, and life in general. It has gotten better in the last few months since I sat down with my husband multiple times and we talked. And this time, he actually listened, so they backed off. Not completely, but it is better. In the last few weeks, my husband started mentioning having a 3rd child, which fills me with dread. I love children and always wanted a big family, but it would be too much. I cook, clean, take care of the kids, and work part-time from home. He doesn't really help with the house, which I'm fine with, nor with the kids, which is a problem. I changed all the diapers, woke up at night, and took care of fevers, doctor appointments, school, playdates, everything. The mere thought of now going through another pregnancy and then taking care of a baby makes me want to cry. I know I would have to do it all practically alone because my husband provides and women have been doing it for centuries. I should pull my weight and not be spoiled. It all culminated last night. After another one of his, I take great care of you and the kids and we should have a 3rd monologues, I snapped. I told him that he really doesn't. The kids barely know him. And when he comes home from work, he doesn't pay attention to them, except to snap at our daughter when she's too loud. He doesn't know anything about our days because he doesn't ask, and I stopped telling him because he wasn't listening anyway. I said he is not a great father nor husband as he likes to preach, and I have no desire to be a single mom of a third child. Two are quite enough, thank you. He stared at me dumbfounded, then called me a C-word, delusional and ungrateful before storming out to his mother's house. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You're being realistic about your limits, and it's completely fair to prioritize your well-being and that of your existing children. From what you've described, you're already handling the vast majority of the household and parenting responsibilities. Adding another child to the mix without adequate support would only add more stress and make things harder for you. Your husband's reaction, calling you names and storming out, is not acceptable or constructive. Instead of listening to your concerns, he dismissed them and invalidated your feelings. Marriage and parenting should be partnerships, and it sounds like you're not getting the support you need. You're not ungrateful or delusional for wanting to maintain some balance in your life. Standing up for yourself and setting boundaries is essential, especially when your mental and emotional health is at stake. Hopefully, he can take some time to reflect and realize the weight of what you're saying. You're doing what's best for yourself and your family, and that's nothing to feel guilty about. Not the a-hole. I am sorry, but your marriage seems miserable. It's like your husband is living in 1950, and seeing the age you married him is not surprising. He found someone very young to fulfill his picket fence dream and doesn't care if you're happy or not. If he's such a great provider, why is she working part-time? Has anyone else noticed that her husband married her when he was 30 and she was 18 to 19 years old? Those are such different points in life. He dated her when she was likely a child and married her when she was barely an adult. He has delusions of being a good husband and father, forcing more responsibility onto her. Is just trying to control her life more without any regard for her happiness or being a supportive partner. Not the a-hole, but OP, you need to see how abusive this situation is and how it puts you in danger. Edit/mini update. For clarification, I married my husband when I was 18. We dated for 9 months. I turned 31 a few days ago and can't imagine being attracted to an 18-year-old, let alone marrying one, but I didn't think like that back then. Whatever happens with my marriage, I am not having another child. I won't change my mind when it comes to that. I am in birth control, but I also have no desire to have sex with my husband after how he reacted and treated me. I don't have parents, and I really don't want to go to friends with this. I called my sister and told her everything. A lot of the things you guys said in the comments, she has been saying for years. She showed up with food, wine, and her husband. My brother-in-law took my kids to their house for a sleepover, and my sister stayed with me. My husband is still with his parents and hasn't called or texted. My mother-in-law called, but I didn't pick up. I'm too angry and sad to have a conversation with her right now. Thank you, everyone, for commenting and giving me advice. It really means a lot.